Hi, I'm Eric, and thanks for watching this YouTube. And I always am a big advocate of reaching out for support and getting support. No matter what it is that we're going through life, when we know we're not going through it alone, it makes all the difference in the world. But really, what is it, and who do you reach out to support, and how? So I wanted to put together just a quick video just to share, 5 different resources to reach out for help and support, because it's so important to have somebody on your side and know that it's okay, and it's okay to not be okay. And the struggles that you're going through, you're not the only one going through them, and that we all struggle in life at different points and periods in our time. So reaching out for support and help, just it doesn't fix the problem, but it lets you know that you're not alone. And it's kind of like having this great sounding board where we can come up with our own solutions, and we can hear solutions that we might have this epiphany that, oh my goodness, this is something that's great that might work. Let me try this in my life. And maybe it's going to make it a little bit easier. And that's the joy of support. And sometimes we just need someone to vent to. Let's face it. We need to be able to just to get it off our chest. And as we get it off our chest, we find solutions and everything in our head. And so, a lot of times everyone goes, oh, great, you reach out for all this support online and you tell people to reach out, but really, what is support? And this is really what support is for me, of how to actually reach out for it. Because sometimes it's great, we have all these resources out there and these people around us, but how do we even talk to them about our challenges that we're going through? So I put this together, just 5 little quick tips of how I found it best to really reach out for support. Hi, this is Eric, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, right down there is a subscribe button. Click that, subscribe with us. We would love to have you along for the journey. So I wanted to share a little bit more into how to reach out for help and support, because it's something that is so important. I'm such a believer in that, reaching out for help and getting support, it makes everything so much easier. And there's a reason that, AA works. There's a reason that NA works. There's a reason that NAMI works. There's a reason that Al-Anon works. And it's because it's a support group, and it's people with a common bond. So when you're reaching out for support, I get it. It's totally difficult to do. It's very hard for me to do, and I'm a huge advocate of reaching out for support. And usually the first people that we'll reach out to support with is family. And sometimes family's a great support tool, and they're great people to reach out to. It's our parents, or it's a brother, sister, or sibling, and sometimes though they don't get it, and I understand that. Sometimes they do, and you know what, if you have parents and you have a family that's a huge support system, be very thankful and be very grateful to it. I got very fortunate that my family was always very open about mental illness. They're open about sobriety. They've been open about suicide, and yep, my dad did commit suicide. But we were open about depression, anxiety, all of that. And it's okay to reach out for help. And one of the easiest ways I found with family to reach out for help is just say, hey, I really need your help right now. And I really need you to be a parent right now. And the easiest way I always found to just start it off was, sometimes it's easier to do it face to face, but sometimes it's also easier to do it through the phone. To just at least get the conversation started. So one of my tips, on getting the conversation started is just flat out saying, hey, I really need to talk to you because I got a lot going on right now and I need your help. Because if you ever ask people for help, everybody wants to help each other. And that's one of the easiest lead-ins there is saying, hey, I want your help with this. I want your input with this. Can you give me your advice? And don't get me wrong, when you do that, people will try and tell you exactly how to do it, and this is how it's done. But it does open up that conversation, and it opens up those keys for communication to actually having a conversation when it comes to mental illness, or when it comes to, depression, when it comes to suicidal thoughts. But the biggest thing I can say is one of the biggest and easiest ways to get with a family member and to talk to them about it is just say, hey, I need your help. And you're either going to get your help or you're not going to get your help, and at least and then what direction to go and what are the next steps really to take on getting that help and getting that support. So it's huge. Support's huge. It's so important to get. So that's really the first thing I can really say is the best people first to reach out to is definitely your family. So you tried reaching out to family for support, and you asked them for help, and maybe it didn't quite go how you wanted it to go. And it's a lot of trial and error, and you can't give up when reaching out for help and reaching out for support. I know that it's extremely difficult to do. The next suggestion I have, is if it's not working with friends, or if it's not working with family, reach out to friends. A lot of times friends want to help other friends. And again, it is a little bit of the same thing. They're going to give you their advice, and their advice is the advice, and it's how it is, and it's the Bible almost of what you need to do and how to fix your life. And you got to let them know, hey, I just need a friend right now. I need to be able to talk to you. This is what I'm going through. And it's so easy, especially when it comes to friends and family, though. The best way to start those conversations is just, hey, I need your advice, or I need some help, or I need someone to listen. Those are great opening lines to be able to get them to give you the support and the willing ear that you might be looking for. And don't trust me, it doesn't always work that way. And sometimes friends might blow you off, and you can look at the negative sides of it. But it's one of those of don't ever give up on trying to find that support. Let them know, hey, I'm hurting right now. I really need a friend. I need somebody to be able to talk to. Can we go out for coffee? Can we, get into a different environment that's not, a home environment or one of those, and get into an outside environment where you might feel a little bit more open and not as guarded as you would at, if you went over to their house maybe, or if you're just not comfortable doing, talking at your house. But ask them for just their help and their input. You'd be surprised how many friends are more than willing to give you that ear. And you know what? If they blow you off, it's okay. And you can't look at it as a defeat. It's trial and error, to find out what works. So, ask friends and family, both of them, my big suggestion is start it off the same way. Just say, hey, I need some help. I need some advice, or I need someone to listen. Those are three great openers just to get the conversation started. So, friends and family are really the first that we usually try to open up to or talk to the most. Sometimes they're great support, sometimes they're not. And if they're not, it's okay, and you just keep finding and looking for that support. Believe me, it's out there. So you tried and reached out to family and friends for support, and you asked them for help, and maybe that didn't work for you. Really the next person that I always suggest everybody go to is if you have a psychologist or if you have a psychiatrist. There's a big difference in both of them. And I'll do a video later on just giving my personal experience between both, because I have seen both. But, if you have somebody like that in your life, a counselor or something, they're really the next person I would definitely suggest and recommend reaching out to just for some help and support. And really the easiest way to do it with them is, what I found is at least write everything down on a piece of paper that you want to talk about. Sometimes it helps you give the strength to talk about it. Sometimes it's easier just to slip them the paper, and it depends, just because it now starts taking a lot of courage. And it is a lot of trial and error to find out what works for us, and if that person, like, we actually have a connection and I'm able to open up and share. And that's usually the case with a lot of people, because everybody that I've really ran into, there's so many of us that, we've held things back and we haven't shared what we necessarily should have shared with the doctor or with the counselor, because we don't want them to judge us. And even though that's their job and they're there to help you, sometimes it's really hard, and we hold back because we don't want to be judged, or we don't want to be looked down upon, or what if this doesn't work? And again, it's a lot of trial and error, and it takes a ton of courage to be able to do this. But one of my biggest suggestions when talking to one of them, if you're finding it difficult just to open up and share, write it down on a piece of paper to keep yourself a little bit of accountability when you're going in and talking to them, or even taking that piece of paper with what you have that you want to talk or share about, and giving it to them to read, and that they can at least ask questions and help us open up. Because let's face it, when we're down in the pits, it's hard sometimes just to open up and be blah, there it is. So, if you're having trouble talking to a counselor, if you're having trouble talking to a doctor, write it down. It makes it that much easier sometimes just to have it on paper, to either read it off of what I need help with and what's going on in my brain, and kind of putting that mush, together so that we can at least share it and get that message out, or at least even giving it to them so that they have something to reference to of kind of what's going on inside our heads. So, reach out to family and friends, reach out to your doctor, and then, lastly, my big suggestion is, if all that is failing, definitely reach out to a stranger sometimes, and sometimes you can do that through a helpline, and sometimes you can do that through, like even with myself on Twitter. I reach out to people every day, give out my cell phone number. My DMs are always open for anybody just to talk to. And really the easiest way to go about it is, one, you can try a helpline, and this is what I found. So my thing with the helplines are, they're there, it's a great resource, try them. Some people have great success with them, some people don't. My experience is, I think that there's a lot to be offered in the way of resources, but don't call Helpline expecting just quick fixes and necessarily someone to talk to. Now, don't get me wrong, these people are doing it because they want to do it, and they want to help people, and they're genuinely doing it with their heart. But also remember that it is a helpline, and they're going to refer you off to different suggestions. So if you think that you're reaching out and you're going to get somebody who's going to be able to talk and listen to you and help you in the way of like a friend or a family member, or even a doctor, you got to remember that they're going to refer you off to different resources out there, whether it be like NAMI or AA and stuff like that, and different, the American Suicide Foundation is a great foundation. But these are resources, and you got to realize that they're going to refer you off to resources. Now, I'm not saying don't reach out to them, but you know what? It also does help, as in practice even, in working up the courage sometimes to be able to reach out for help and reach out for support. So, try a helpline. If you're having trouble reaching out for support with a doctor, if you're having trouble with friends and family and you're just not getting the feedback, call a helpline. There's tons of them out there. Google and just say helpline for whatever it is that you're going through, and you'll find one for it. So, try helplines. It sometimes helps build up that courage and that strength to be able to actually talk to another human being sometimes a little bit easier. So, there's another great resource that's out there. Don't discard it at all. So make sure that you try helplines even too. If you're finding out what's working for you, that's one of the different resources out there that don't overlook. And really, my last tip of when it comes to talking to a stranger, the best place to find them is on social media. And I think Facebook so far for me has been all right. Instagram is all right. There are people out there that want to reach out and want to help. The best I have found is Twitter. Even with myself, I put my phone number out there. I put my DMs are always open. And through social media, people don't really know who you are necessarily. So it's one of those things when you reach out through social media and you need support and help, find those first. Find the threads like a sick, not weak, mental illness or depression. Find one of those threads and find an active member who is saying, hey, reach out for help, or my DMs are open. And the easiest way to start the conversation is a hi. Send a quick DM, send a quick text message, just hi. My name is so-and-so, or you don't even have to put that, just say hi. I need somebody to talk to. And it's usually a very extroverted person, so they're going to be very easy to talk to, because most of the times introverts, let's face it, we're not going to necessarily reach out and put out our number and stuff and tell people to reach out to us. But if you do find somebody out there that's willing to and wants you to reach out, all you have to do is say hi. And believe me, they'll get the conversation going for you. And they're by far, from what I found, the most easiest people to reach out to. And you got to remember, they're not a doctor, they're not a counselor, they're not a lawyer, they're not a professional when it comes to anything like that. It's just somebody who wants to help you. And so, feel free to talk to them. And it's kind of like just making a new friend. And it's a sounding board out there that allows you somebody to talk to that, you're not a burden in their life, and that you may not ever even meet them in person, but you also may meet them in person one day because you get a friendship that strong. And it just comes down to having that person to talk to and just be able to share with. And you got to also remember, though, they do it on their own time. So if they don't get back to you right away, you can't just beat yourself up and go, I'm not going to reach out to anybody. Because you got to realize that, a lot of times, not everybody's on social media 24/7. But you know what? Reaching out to a stranger, I found, has been the easiest thing usually to reach out to, just because it's not somebody who knows you necessarily. There's no prejudgment. It's a people helping people. So reaching out, through social media has been one of the easiest things I've found. Probably one of the best forms of support I found, because it's just a normal human being with no other wants in the world than just to help out somebody and help them feel better. So, reaching out through social media, just message them. Hi, I need help. Hi, can I talk to you? It just starts with that first message and building up the strength to do it. And I know you can, especially if you want that additional support. So I hope you got something out of this video. I got a bunch of videos up. Subscribe, like our channel. It's what it's about. It's about people helping people. So you know what? I hope somebody gets something out of this. And definitely, if you're hurting and if you need support, reach out. It's out there. Reach out to me. Reach out to anybody. Support makes a huge difference.